Welcome, haulers. Today's show is about the Consolidated Outland Pioneer. Now, you may think that's an odd choice since this is a show about cargo hauling. But if you're anything like me, when you hear capital ship, you immediately start thinking cargo capacity. After all, big ships must mean big cargo, right? This ship reveal came with a presentation from Silas Corner, founder and CEO of Consolidated Outland, as well as a 48-minute panel discussion on how the ship was created and what it will do, as well as what CIG hopes the gameplay for the Pioneer will be like. For those who were listening, we got far more than a simple ship Q&A. So let's look at if and how a cargo hauler might be able to use this massive ship. First off, this ship is the size of a capital ship. Its length of 200 meters, height of 30 meters, and beam of 125 meters makes it roughly the size of an Idris P. The Idris P is 233 meters long, 46 meters high, and 126 meters in beam, so 33 meters longer, 16 meters taller, but only 1 meter wider than the Pioneer. All of these stats are from the new ship matrix, so they should be accurate. The difference, though, is that an Idris P has a cargo capacity of 995 SCU, just under 400 SCU more than the stated cargo capacity of the Pioneer. The Idris P also has a lot of very large guns. Why compare the Pioneer to an Idris P? The simple answer is that it's the closest thing in size to the Pioneer that is both a capital ship and not designed as a freighter. We could compare it to the Hull D, which at 209 meters in length is close to the size of the Pioneer, but as a dedicated freighter, its cargo capacity of 20,736 SCU just can't be beat in its size class. Both the Idris P and the Pioneer have a large area of quote-unquote free space that could possibly be used for cargo. On the Idris, that's the flight deck, which, with air shields at both ends, large doors, and a ramp when landed, make the idea of using it as a cargo bay at least somewhat practical. On the Consolidated Outland Pioneer, this free space would be the assembly area. While I haven't calculated the potential cubic area of either ship, it would significantly increase cargo capacity. The Pioneer also has a heavy lift crane designed for moving and placing outpost components that could be used for loading and unloading cargo. The Pioneer also has the ability to literally split open, allowing massive access to the assembly area. This functionality, though, does come at a cost. The Pioneer is built to set down and open up on the wilds of an untamed planet. I don't know of any current cargo pad that would allow the ship to open up that way, exposing the cargo. It's possible that the Pioneer could be used that way in an orbital cargo yard. Of course, the assembly area of the Pioneer, just like the flight deck of an Idris, doesn't have a cargo grid. It does have artificial gravity, which would keep the cargo in place during flight, but because the cargo isn't in the grid, it would be undeclared. That will mean manual inspections at every customs port, not to mention every time advocacy or customs decides to run a flyby scan. While the assembly area of the Pioneer could probably hold 2 to 4 times the capacity of a Caterpillar, at a guess, that extra cargo capacity probably won't be very convenient for the crew who decides to use it that way. Between the lack of cargo ports that could handle such a ship and the manual customs inspections, the chances of making a profit as a hauler are slim to none. Now, if I was the type to run contraband under the radar, I might use the ship to make a couple of outpost habs, put them in the assembly area, then smuggle the contraband inside the habs. We don't have stats on build time for the habs, so it's quite possible that the first set at least would be built en route to its destination. So having a couple of habs in the assembly area probably wouldn't be suspicious. Honestly, as a cargo hauler, the Pioneer fails the smell test, especially when you consider smaller ships like the Starfarer have a cargo capacity of 3,321 SCU. Even the Gemini has a capacity of 2,488 SCU, while the Anvil Crucible only has a cargo capacity of 230 SCU. It does have that large clamshell garage that can hold quite a bit. The Crucible is also built to fit a standard pad. The RSI Polaris is another capital ship that might be used for cargo. At 155 meters, it's 3/4 the length of the Pioneer. Its hold is only 216 SU, but it has a hangar with an elevator that could be used for cargo. The only problem is that it would need to be loaded and unloaded from the top. Even the Carrack, which is a little over half the length and width of the Pioneer, has a cargo capacity of 1,000 SCU. The Carrack is also much better armed than the Pioneer. So, if you can't really use the Pioneer as a cargo vessel, should you buy one? Well, I put one in my fleet. I have a mantra in real life as in the game: multiple streams of income. I know that there will be a demand for companies who can build outposts. I also expect the construction ability will be very lucrative, especially for custom construction. My hope is that either the Pioneer or another ship will have the capability of building in space. I certainly have the ships to keep a Pioneer in build materials indefinitely. At the time of this taping, there were still 241 War Bond Pioneers available. If you've got the cash, now is the time to stock up. If the Pioneer just doesn't suit your needs, you should find someone who has one or more. They are going to need haulers who can bring raw materials to construction sites as they build outposts for others. So, in closing, Pioneer is a hauler? No. Pioneer is a hauling opportunity? Absolutely. This is Greyheart for the Nassau Trading Company. Until next time, may your forward scanners be clear and your hold be full.